Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome to the channel. Basically today I'm going to be showing you how to do UK drill drums, 808s and effects. My opinion is pretty simple. After some practice you just need some experience and trial and error, you know. Today I'm going to be using a loop just so I can strictly focus on the drums, so we don't have to worry about making a melody by ourselves. But if you do want a tutorial on how to make UK drill melodies, be sure to let us know in the comments, because we're starting to do weekly tutorials from now on our main channel. And also, disclaimer, next week we're going to be dropping a completely free for anyone to download a UK drill loop pack with some samples in there. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. And yeah, let's just get straight into the tutorial. Alright, so now I'm in my Ableton session here, as you can see. So I'm basically just going to go through each individual instrument and just tell you what they're playing. So I'm maybe going to go into my sound selection for drill and my recommendations. So I'm just going to start with, the melodies here. I put everything into groups, and the drums, 808, the kick, and then I'll end off with the FX. And along the way I'll probably just go in here as well to the master channel and just show you about leveling, different tips. So I'm going to start by just showing you the loop. This loop is by Barney. He's another collective from No Agony. So I'm just going to play the loop. So yeah, that's what the loop sounds like. That's 2 of the 3 stems. A little bit later there's a violin that comes in just for some variation. So yeah, that's the main part of the loop. For at least my style of drill beats, it works best if you have a kind of simple and more spacious, legato loops. Like orchestras and choirs normally work very well, because your drums and 808s and stuff are very complex normally, so it doesn't work very well if you have a staccato loop or a guitar or something. Usually it won't work too well because there's not going to be anything holding the flow together. So just personally I like having more like a orchestral or vocal loop for drill beats. So now I'm going to go a bit more in depth with the melody itself. So in my opinion, the most important thing for your melody is to remember to EQ out the lows of your melody, because just around over 800 cents is usually where your 808 is peaking the most, which means if your melody is playing with your 808 at the same time in that frequency, then they're basically going to be fighting for the space, and then it's just going to become a very muddy mix, and it's going to be very loud and distorted, and it won't sound very good. So if you just simply EQ out, you won't be able to hear a difference. I'll just show you, so this is with the EQ on. So see, this is the EQ on, and now if I turn it off, there's not a difference, but if you play it with the 808, you will definitely hear a difference. So that's basically all for the melody, and then just the tips I mentioned earlier about which melody to choose. Now I'm gonna go down to the drums. So we'll start with the hi-hat or the counter snares. So the hi-hats in drill are usually based off the same pattern, which is just dotted eighths notes, which are the dark ones right here, which basically just play usually throughout the whole beat, and then I just added some different accents and rolls and stuff. So I'll just play the hi-hat pattern I made. So that's basically just plays throughout the entire beat. This is the Dior hi-hat or counter snare. You can put reverb on your counter snares if you want them to be more spacious, and if it's more slow drill, then I would recommend putting reverb on them. Since this beat has a lot of action in itself with the 808 and stuff, there's no reason to put any reverb, so this is just the raw sample, there's no effects or anything. So now I'm gonna do the actual snares or rims. So it's basically just playing the normal drill pattern. It's basically the same as trap, but instead of having the rim here on the 2s, you just move it 1 over just to give it more bounce. That's usually what you do. So that's basically the rim, the main one, and then I have the Dior snare, just giving a back to the actual rim, and then also filling some more places. So I'll just play all the drums together. And the drums are basically just like that throughout the entire beat, except some pauses I have, but they are playing the same patterns throughout the whole song. So as I said, you can put reverb on the counter snares, even you can put it on the rim if you feel like it, onto the 808s and the kicks and the Grime 808s. For drill, you're gonna want to find a very long 808. This is because if you use a shorter 808, if you add any slides like I have, then if you use, let's just take the Spins 808 for an example, that 808 is very short. So if you try to play that with glides, then the 808 would simply just stop before the glides would be able to play. So you just have to find like a drill 808 that's usually very long and has a lot of velocity until the end. So I'm just gonna play my 808 pattern just as an example, and then I'll play just some individual places just as examples. So that's just the first bar of the song. I'll just play some other places with some slides so you can see examples. There's some more here. And a little bit here. There's a bunch more slides in here. I'll just play this end one. And then here, I'll get into some Grime 808s later, but there's another higher slide here, for example. And then the final slide I put in is the one for the ending. Basically, what I said about the 808 is just having it sit right in your mix, using a long one so the glides can be there, and then just basically how I find which notes to glide up and or down to is just by finding the key of your loop. So in this case, Barney put in that this is in F sharp minor. So I just went to Google and found a sheet of the F sharp minor scale, and then just followed that, just tried some different slides in the scale just to see what worked and what didn't. And yeah, if you basically just find the key of your melody, you can just use key finder or anything like that. Then if you just follow those notes, it will always be in key. So that's the 808. Now for the kick. Something very important for me about the kick is that you always have a soft clipper on it. In FL, for example, there's just the audio effect called soft clip, but in Ableton you just go to saturator, or you can go to the one called glue compressor and then just press soft clip on. This basically means that your kick isn't going to be clipping. Well, it's going to be clipping with the audio, but it's not going to be clipping anywhere else, like with the visuals and stuff. So basically it's just going to make it louder and punchier without interfering with the other instruments. Personally, I like using a very punchy kick and loud, so I'm just going to play my kick as an example. So yeah, this is my kick. I'll just play it with the 808 so you can hear it. So it's really just about finding that sweet spot, like the balance between the 808 being too loud or the kick overpowering the 808 too much. Just finding that perfect sweet spot between them. So yeah, just the only thing I have about the kick to remember is just the soft clipper is very important for me. Now for the Grime 808s. Grime 808s, if you don't know, are basically just smaller, quieter 808s that are like distorted and have weird sounds. This is an example of them. I'm gonna play a part, like all the parts with Grime 808 so you can hear it. And also for these, I just followed the scale just to find what would sound good. They just work some places. If it's getting boring listening to the same 808, it's cool to just put in these like experimental sounds. Here's another one. And then the final Grime I put in is this one. So this, for example, here there's a bunch of Grime on top of each other that's kind of mixing with the kick and 808 to create this cool effect, which I really liked how it came out. So for the Grimes, you just you can pan them. I didn't do that for this beat because there was already enough panning with the hi-hats and stuff, so I decided not to pan them. But usually you will pan your Grime 808s between left and right accordingly, just whatever sounds good. Yeah, that's really just all I have to say about the Grime 808s. Just don't make them too loud, and also just select sounds that work. They don't overpower anything else. So now down to the effects. Alright, and now for the final layer of this beat, I'm going to go through the effects I used, which are these green things down here. The way I'm going to do it is just go through each place where there's a bunch of effects on top of each other. I'm going to show you which effects I used, how they, how they work with the beat together, and then I'm going to say why I used them and how they work with the beat together. So the first effect thing I have is just the tags in the start, which you kind of need.
Agony. Barney.
So the next group of effects is here. I have a riser, a tape stopping thing. I'll just play you each individual sound first. It's a riser. Then this like gunshot or something that's fading away. And then the same version of that, just without fading away, in a different way. So, and then over here I have this reverse percussion effect. And that's a very good lead up into the first kick. I'll just play it in context for you here. I really think it works very well. The next set of effects I've chosen is right here. This is leading into like the second half of the first drop. The shorter riser, a transition effect, this like horror movie dude laughing or something, which I found kind of funny, so I just put it in because it sounded alright. And then again, like an effect leading up into where the kick starts. So this is how this sounds. I'll just play the effects by themselves first. And together with the beat. So that's how that effect layer sounds. The next place where there's a bunch of effects is really just the second drop here. Here. Just to build up some suspense. Then I have this, like, it sounds like a money machine or something that just plays 3 times in a row, just getting gradually louder each time, also just to build up suspense. Sounds like this. And then this to lead up with the kick again, like I showed before. And then I have this next chirp down here, which is probably just a reenactment of what Red Valentine's phone sounded like after he fell off his camel. You know, it's probably him just calling emergency services ASAP. But yeah, this is what the effects layer sounds like. And as you can probably notice, or if you haven't already noticed, then the places where I use the most effects are usually where there isn't too much happening in the drums or the 808, just to keep the vibe going. So for example, if I put all this like 3 bars over where the 808 is starting to come again, it would not sound very good. It would start becoming muddy and they would start interrupting each other. So that's just a tip, is to just balance the use of effects and usually just use them when there isn't too much happening with the 808. The rest is really just duplicated because I just duplicated the whole beat from after the first 8 bars. The only other thing that really changes is the build up into the drop again after this break I have that just comes here. Basically just the same as before, but the vocal loop is just tuned down an octave. This reverse percussion thing again going into the drums. Sword effect when the snare comes in again. A riser that I chopped up because I thought it sounded cool. And then basically the same as in the second drop, just 3 effects just to build up the suspense even more. And this is what that sounds like. I just thought it was a cool way of leading back into the beat. And then from there everything is just copied, and then I have the No Agony tag just to stop or end the beat right here. And yeah, that's pretty much the entire effects layer. So if you enjoyed this video, please let us know in the comments. And if you have any suggestions for future tutorials, please also let us know in the comments, because we're trying to do 2 tutorials a week from now on. And yeah, thank you for watching.